Namaskar everyone. On behalf of ICSI, ICS Suresh Pandey, Central Council member of ICSI, welcome you all in today's webinar on the most awaited topic of the year, the budget. So today we have with us two very great personalities, Dr. Girish Ahuja ji, eminent tax speaker and former council member of ICSI, and CS Bimal Jain ji, eminent indirect tax expert. So before starting the webinar, we have with us our president also. So like before reading the profile of Dr. Girish Ahuja, although sir not need any introductions, sir is very eminent and famous personality in the professional fraternity. So before reading the profile, I request our beloved president, Shri B. Narasimhan to give his opening remark for today's webinar.
Thank you, Suresh. Sorry, my apologies. I joined a bit late. Namaskar, Ahuja Saab.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar.
Meeting you after a long time.
There is a very, very long time. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Bimal Jain sir, namaskar.
Namaskar, namaskar.
We have two eminent experts with us. Mr. Girish Ahuja, who does not need any introduction, as Suresh Pandey said. He is an expert. In fact, he is very closely associated with the government. I'm sure he would have had his hand in the preparation of the budget as well. In terms of suggestion which would have gone to the minister, I'm sure he would have worked on that. And we also have Mr. Bimal Jain, again, a very expert on indirect tax and founder of A to Z Tax LLP. My colleague in the council, Suresh Pandey, he is the one who is moderating today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to the seminar on the topic Union Budget 24-25, Priorities and Proposals. I express my sincere gratitude to both Sri Dr. Girish Ahuja ji and CS Bimal Jain for taking out time amidst their very busy schedule to join this webinar for the benefit of all the stakeholders of ICSI. The Union Budget 24-25 sets a visionary path for India's economic development by focusing on 9 priorities for Viksit Bharat. The budget focuses on the theme Next Generation Reforms. The budget aiming to bolster economic growth, improve productivity, and enhance the efficiency of the markets and sectors. The budget outlines key reforms across all sectors, various sectors, emphasizing collaboration between the center and the states to promote competitive federalism and sustained economic progress. The focus of the budget is on employment, skilling, MSME, and middle class. The judicial process for the corporate cases has also been reviewed by proposing to establish additional NCLTs, exclusive NCLTs under the Companies Act 2013 and additional DRTs. I'm sure all of them, there'll be a big relief to many of our members who are not able to get their case listed in the NCLT presently by virtue of the deluge of cases on the IP, insolvency cases. As integrated platform for IBC ecosystem and the extension of Center for Processing Accelerated Corporate Exit (EC-PACE) for the voluntary closure of LLPs on the budget would further adjudication process and make it effective and fast. Friends, some of the proposals in the tax are very promising to promote business, entrepreneurship, and extending tax nets such as GST, tax structure, angel tax, which has been abolished. I'm sure it will be a big boost for the startups, and the simpler tax regime for foreign shipping companies operating domestic cruises to promote cruise tourism in India. Corporate tax rate on foreign short-term gains. There is some disturbance going on, please.
This is our headquarters, ICS headquarters, please.
Yeah, sorry, sir. I'll request them.
They have done it.
Thank you, sir. A simpler tax regime for foreign shipping companies. Okay, corporate tax on foreign companies reduced from 40% to 35%. Again, a big relief for MNCs. Short-term gains on certain financial assets to attract tax rate at 20%. Long-term gains on all financial and non-financial assets to attract the tax rate of 12.5%, etc. I don't want to get into details. I'm sure both the panelists who are going to be here will be throwing a lot of light on this and and possibly also the reasoning for why those changes has been made. To summarize, the 9 priorities identified in this progressive and inclusive budget 2024 are aimed at generating ample opportunities for all. The budget focuses on skilling, educating, and employing the youth, a priority that the ICSI has been concentrating on for long. The budget is a very progressive and forward-looking one, which will surely meet the aspirations of the rising India. In fact, yesterday I was in Bombay when we had Honorable Piyush Goyalji, Minister for Industries, Economers and Industry, addressing the members, and it was a joint program organized by NSE and me and IMC plus ICSI and ICAI. So we had a nice meeting and he was able to throw a lot of light on the budget. But I'm sure the experts over here will be in a position to share their thoughts on the budget. Over to you, Suresh, for taking it further. Thank you very much again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So very briefly, I will read the profile of Dr. Girish Ahuja, although he does not need any introduction, but very briefly, अगर पूरा प्रोफाइल हम करेंगे तो 1 घंटा मुझे कम से कम चाहिए. Dr. Girish Ahuja did his graduation and post-graduation from Sri Ram College of Commerce and was a position holder. He has been teaching direct taxes to students at various levels for more than 43 years. He is fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and was placed in the merit list for both intermediate and final examination of the institute. He is senior faculty member of Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University, and also visiting faculty member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, MFC South Campus, DU, and various other management institutes. He was nominated by Central Council by Central Government as Central Council member to the Institute of Company Secretaries of India for 2 terms. He is member of Accounting Standard Board of ICAI, and he is also on the board of directors of many companies and has a vast and rich experience in the field of finance and taxation. So thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time. And now, like you have to give us your expert comment on the budget. And I know your busy schedule and you're continuously traveling. So thank you for sparing your valuable time, sir. Please, sir.
Good evening to everyone. Mr. B. Narasimhan, President of the ISI, and of course, the CS Suresh Pandeyji, Central Council member, my fellow speaker, of course, CA Advocate Bimal Jainji, Manoj Kumarji, who is there in front of me, it's a screen, Vineet Sharmaji, and of course, from the headquarters, Alka Arora-ji, ladies and gentlemen. Well, friend, one thing, I am not complaining, but first at the time, please don't download anything from the Google. The biodata which has been read is only 15 years old. So therefore, don't download anything from Google. Many changes have been. He said, I'm a senior faculty in Sri Ram College of Commerce. I retired only 13 years back from Sri Ram College of Commerce. So 13 years is a big time. I am already 78 plus, sir. So Sri Ram College cannot hold people for more than 65 years. You have to retire and superannuate from that place also. And there have been many other changes which had taken place in the course of time. Only the best thing was I was Central Council member, of course, of the Institute of Company Secretary nominated by the government. But government has nominated to many others. So coming back, this is only advice to everyone. Do not go to the Google, particularly for tax matters. Well, I don't know whether it has been updated or not updated. Coming back. Now coming to it. Let me tell you, just Mr. Bhandari, Sureshji was telling me, people have not appreciated, Suresh Pandeyji was saying, they have not appreciated. The role of the opposition is to criticize, and they have to. Why should not they criticize it? But let me tell you, it is a very good budget. I'll tell you the reason for everything. You are a company secretary, or you are all our company secretary. You all know that there is a system of buyback of share under Section 68 of the Companies Act. Am I right, sir? You can buy back the share. And company can buy back the share at one particular time. I'm talking about 1718. This buyback of share under income tax, there is a section called 115QA. And the buyback of share was only applicable in case of closely held company, meaning a company in which public are not substantially interested. Buyback of share was not applicable. That section was not applicable for listed companies. When we were redrafting the income tax law during that particular time, we asked one question: why it is applicable only for unlisted company and not for listed company? May I request one thing? I need 2-3 people in front of me to talk to them. If they are on the video. Yes, sir. Thank you, Sureshji. Because when you can't talk to the walls, I should have some space in front of.
Correct, sir. Correct, sir. But thousands of people.
There. People
Yes.
is already there, but we are both speakers. So we will have to talk to each other and no one else. So what I'm trying to explain, we have pointed out that particular time, why with the listed company? Because in the case of buyback, in the case of listed company, the company was not paying tax at all because the 115 QA was not applicable. At the same time, the shareholder was also not paying tax because it was exempt under Section 10, Clause 38 of the Income Tax Act. We were saying a closely held company has to pay tax, whereas listed company, neither the shareholder pays tax nor the company pays tax. So the law was changed. Even the listed company were brought under the purview of Section 115 QA, saying that if the company goes for buyback of share, whether listed or unlisted, it has to pay tax at the rate. Who has to pay tax? The company has to pay tax at the rate of 20% plus 12% for 4%. At the same time, since the company has already paid tax, it will be exempt in the hands of the shareholder, whatever amount it is under Section 10, Clause 34A. This was the position, latest position up to last year. Company buys back, company pays 20% plus 12% plus 4%, and shareholder does not pay anything. People started misusing this law. Why? If the company declares that dividend, shareholder has to pay tax at the rate of 30% plus surcharge plus education cess. Whereas if the company buys back the share, although it is on account of saving up on the dividend tax, company buys the shares, it has to pay tax at 12% plus 12% for 4%. Meaning thereby, the company was, there was a benefit of about 9% if there is a buyback of share vis-a-vis dividend, because dividend. Now the best advantage is, Mr. Suresh, best advantage was closely held company. Closely held company are the closely held shareholders. Now, if the closely held company declares dividend, the shareholder has to pay tax at the rate of 30% plus surcharge, which may go up to 15% plus 4%. But whereas the company pays tax, the company will pay tax at 12% plus 20% plus 12% plus 4%, correct? And the tax will be paid by the company. The shareholders are taking away the money of the company in the form of dividend, as well as the tax also is being paid by the company. Are you noticing my point? I got it tax-free because company paid tax on that. Whatever amount I got it, it is exempt in my hand. Had I got it the dividend, it would have been taxed at 30%. And I would have paid tax. Now the company has to pay tax. So you are taking out the profit of the company in the form of dividend, in the form of buyback payment made, and plus the benefit also to the shareholder because the company pays tax, he does not pay. To curb this practice, they have abolished Section 115 QA by bringing a new clause, sub-clause under Section 2, Clause 22, sub-clause F. I will not be very technical, but what is 222? Everybody knows dividend and deemed dividend. And everybody knows, all company secretary knows Section 222A, 222B, Section 2, Clause 22C, Clause 222D, and Section 2, Clause 22, subclause E. E, everybody knows. Where a company gives any loan or advance to a shareholder who has 10% voting power in the company, or a concern in which such shareholder has 20% voting power, such amount shall be deemed to be dividend in the hands of the shareholder, and he has to pay tax. Loan is being treated as income of the recipient. Now they have added clause F. Any amount payable by a company on purchase of its own share from the shareholder shall be liable to be taxed under section 2 clause 22 subclause F as dividend. Sureshji, as dividend. So the entire amount of buyback which you give to your shareholder will be taxable under the head as dividend. Let me take an example. Let me take an example of Reliance share. Suppose you have bought a share of Reliance at particular time at 500 rupees. Today, Reliance go for buyback for 3,000 rupees. Kindly note, the entire 3,000 rupees, please note, entire 3,000 rupees will be taxable as dividend. You will not get deduction of that 500 rupees also. You have to pay tax on the entire 3,000 rupees as deemed dividend. You will ask me, what about that 500 rupees which I paid for the purchase of the share? I should have got the deduction. They said, look here, we have a 46A section. And 46A says, consideration for this acquisition shall be deemed to be nil. So consideration is going to be nil. That means 0 minus 500 will be a capital loss. 0 is the consideration and cost is your 500. This 500 will become your capital loss, which you can set up from any other capital gain, long-term capital gain. If there is no long-term capital gain this year, you can carry it forward. So now point is, cost is not to be deducted from dividend. They've already said under section 57, no deduction whatsoever shall be allowed. The entire amount of 3,000 will become taxable as dividend, and you will have to pay tax at the rate of 30% plus surcharge if applicable. On the other hand, the cost which you had incurred, 500 rupees, will be treated as a capital loss. Why capital loss? Consideration price deemed to be nil. And due to, because this kind of money which you are receiving from buyback is dividend, now section 194, you will have to deduct TDS also on the amount of that 3,000 rupees. So what I have done, section 2 clause subclause 2 to F, read with section 140 clause A, 140A, read with 1034A, which is abolished, read with 194 that the dividend which you receive is going to, for that TDS will have to be deducted by the company. So this is the first step the government has done. If you have any question, you have to take a question later. We will take it later. But
we will take it later, sir. We will take all the question at the last, sir.
Buyback has become deemed dividend and the entire amount is taxable. The cost will be allowed only from the as a capital loss. Second thing, very important, very, very important. 2 months back, wherever I went, I was of the opinion the stock market is growing. It is going up. Now this is the time for the government to raise the income tax on the long-term capital gain and short-term capital gain, and the government, every shareholder will absorb it. There may be little problem in the capital market in the initial stages, but let me tell you, the market will absorb this tax. This I used to say. Now, what has happened? Short-term, that time I told you, short-term capital gain will be raised by 15% and long-term capital gain will be raised from 10 to 15. And short-term capital from 15 to 20 and long-term capital gain will be raised from 10 to 15%.
It is very important in the, like, sir, many professionals are discussing about this short-term and long-term capital gain. So I think this is very relevant point, sir.
I'll tell you. 15 raised to 20. Probably government says people are making money. It is more or less a trading type. And they are, instead of paying 30, they are paying 15. And still, if we raise it to 20, 5% will be absorbed by the person. So this is. But I was surprised that it is not 12.5% only for share. For all other asset also. All other asset, the tax rate has been brought down from 20% to 12%. The moment I was reading this or was watching this, I immediately said the indexation is gone. And the same thing happened, the indexation will not be available. So what are there is, you will be allowed to opt for market value as on 1st April 2001 if you have acquired that before 1st April 2001. But after 2001, the question of indexation does not arise. There will be no indexation whatsoever. People are feeling very bad. I am feeling very happy. Why? Try to understand. First point, if you have bought a property, Sureshji, way back in 2001, the price of that property at particular time may be only, let's say, assume it, 10 lakhs. Let's assume the market value of the property around 2001 is 10 lakhs. How much indexation? 3.63 times. The 10 lakh will become 36 lakh 30,000. But the same property which was worth 10 lakh, today may be 10 crore. Or maybe 6 crore, 10 crore. 10 crore minus 36 lakh 30,000, you have to pay tax on 9 crore 33 lakh at 20%. And now on 10 crore minus 10 lakh, on 9 crore 90 lakh, you have to pay tax only at 10%. The prices of property has gone very high. And particularly after COVID, 3 times, 4 times. And from 21, you cannot imagine, you cannot think that 21 price will not go by 10 times or 8 times or 9 times. It will go much more than that. Think of a gold. When Sureshji, gold at that time was 4,700.
Yes, sir.
Am I right? Let us take it 5,000 rupees.
Correct.
5,000 rupees. Okay. 5,000 multiplied by 363. You know, this is the indexation, na? Will be 18,000. And what is the price of gold today? Around, let's say, 70,000. On 70 minus 18, 52, you have to pay 20%. And on 70 minus 5, on 65, you have to pay 10%. Everyone is happy.
It means it's good, sir, but like many rumors.
अभी तो सुन लीजिए, अभी पहले क्वेश्चन करिए, अभी सुन लीजिए. Unlisted company का शेयर, सुरेश जी आपने कितने का खरीदा होगा? What price? 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 100 rupees, 200 rupees. The price of that unlisted share, I was the original holder, I might have bought for 10 rupees, is now maybe 2,000 rupees. And if you go for indexation of 10 rupees, it is 36 rupees. And on 2,000 minus 36, you have to pay 20%. Now on 2,000 minus 10, you have to pay 10%. All unlisted companies are very happy. The original shareholder of the unlisted company, now if there is a pre-IPO issue, pre-IPO allotment of the unlisted company share, you will give it at the present value. And the present value, the value is too much. Whereas you had bought it for 10 rupees. Present value will be 700 rupees. And now for issue of share, even 5627B is gone. आप किसी भी प्राइस में इशू कर सकते हैं. पहले तो you cannot issue for more than fair market value. Now that because of that angel tax, everybody is benefiting. So my price is 10 rupees when I bought it. Today it may be 2,000 rupees. Indexation is only 36 rupees. Whereas today I sell it 2,000 minus 10, 1,990 rupees. I pay tax at 12%. Who is fool not to pay tax at 12.5%? Everybody will be interested in paying tax at 12.5% because he carries home 87% as his own capital. आप जरा ध्यान से सुनिए. कहो एक होता है सर्वजन सुखाय, another is called बहुजन सुखाय. ये सर्वजन सुखाय नहीं हो सकता कभी भी लॉ. बहुजन सुखाय हो गया. It is for many people. They are going to be benefited to a great extent. And who will invest, my dear? When you sell a property, you go for 50 lakh deposit under 54 EC, and the lock-in period is 5 years. Who would be interested in depositing in 50 lakh in 54 EC? I will pay tax 12.5%. I'll be happy. And I can deposit the 8%. Or I may deposit in share. I can buy share and make money in that. What is the need of depositing 50 lakh rupees in that bond and you lock up for 5 years? You pay tax, enjoy life. And by paying tax, you can divert those funds in the share market and make more money than what is there in the bonds. Think of those things. There is only one disadvantage. 54. Why? This one is not there. Suppose you had a property whose cost was 2 crore. Let's take it. Index cost is 3 crore. Stamp duty value is 5 crore. Earlier, capital gain is 2 crore. Earlier, you could take away 3 crore home, 2 crore your own cost, and 1 crore the index cost also. You could take away 3 crore and you have to invest 2 crore to claim exemption under 54. Am I right? Only 2 crore to claim exemption under 54. Now you will have to invest 3 crore because no indexation to claim exemption under 54.
Whole value.
Yes.
The whole value you need to invest.
No, whole value is 54. Here, only capital gain part.
Capital gain.
Capital gain after indexation is less. And
Yes.
Capital gain without indexation will be more. And since it is going to be more, I will have to invest more in the property to claim exemption 54. For 54F, it is beneficial. Because I don't want to invest 1, 2, and invest 5 crore. I say I invest 4 crore. I get deduction 4 crore by 5 crore into 2 crore. I get deduction only 40%. But now capital gain will be 3 crore. I'll get more deduction. So if people have to analyze it, I'm telling you, don't go for opposition comment because I don't think there is any property of 2001 which has gone up only by 3 times. No problem. You can never think of a property unless it is a disputed property or maybe locational disadvantage or anything. 2001 and today this, and everyone is earning capital gain after indexation also. So much of capital gain. That's why 54 is there. So if indexation benefit has gone, but you have got a greater benefit of paying tax at the rate of 12.5%, now you will have to work out on the sheet of paper. What was the position for indexation and what is the position going to be in your case without indexation? Let me tell you, 80% will be benefit. And now, sir, I will not sell on stamp duty value. I'll sell on the real value. The real value of the property is much more than the stamp duty value. But we were saving tax by paying on stamp duty value. Now I would like to sell at a more price because I will be able to convert my capital by paying tax. I mean, increase my capital by paying tax only at the rate of 12.5%. 12.5. Many items are there. You may feel bad about share because now 10% has gone to 12.5%. But since you have also minted money from the stock market, pay to the government also little extra. Instead of 10, pay 12.5%. But now unit also come under this category of 12.5%. So my question is, you have to see what kind of a thing you have in mind. Maybe in few cases, there might have been difficulty because they increase, the market value might not have gone up. But in most of the cases, market value has gone up and everybody is going to make money by having an appreciation converted into a good capital by paying tax only at the rate of 12.5%. On this, I will take questions later. Coming to the next slide. I've been telling for ages, this old regime will go. The old regime for paying taxes will go. But some or other, there are certain reasons which I cannot tell you on the screen because it is under. I mean, everybody will record that. But there are reasons for not going away with it. But I went many times to tell them, why are you continuing with old? Why are you going for only new regime? Why not old regime? We get benefit of ATC, we can better ATG and extra. So that's why. Why should we? He says, sir, we have given the entire benefit to you in the form of reduction in tax rate or slab rate. So it is better, it is simplification, no question of anything, you'll get it. Then they told me the reason. The first reason, Sureshji, Sunna. There are many people who are filing return and they have not paid taxes and they have claimed ATC, ATD without making any payment. Bogus claim of ATC, bogus claim of ATD, bogus claim of ATG, because 98% cases, there will be no scrutiny.
It is only the basis of declaration. Only on the basis of declaration they are.
Yeah, 98% cases there are no scrutiny. Or even if they have not given, they claim ATC separately while filing a return. Or they said, claim it now. Who knows I have deposited or not? Now, or ATD, I have paid an insurance claim or not. This is happening. Now, second question they say, sir, 70% of the claim of the HRA are bogus. 70% claim of the HRA of the salaried employees. Somebody is paying rent to the father, somebody is paying rent to the mother, they paying rent to the sister, rent to the brother, even paying rent to the wife and telling that she does not allow me to enter the house before I pay rent for that. There are two judgments in our favor that you can pay rent to your wife also, and that will be treated as you will be eligible for HR. You can understand 70%. And second thing they said, the salary people make lot of donation. सिर्फ सैलरी वाले ही डोनेशन देते हैं और कोई देता नहीं है. Are you understanding my point? They make donation. And I told them at that particular time, Kabir Das has written a doha, I will repeat. चिड़िया चोच बार ले गई, नदी ना घटे और नीर, दान दिए दन ना घटे, कह गए भक्त कबीर. कर क्या रहे थे लोग? दान देते थे, पैसे वापस ले लेते थे और साथ में डिडक्शन भी क्लेम कर रहे थे. तो दान घटा कहां? वो तो बढ़ गया. कितने कबीरदास विजनरी थे इस कंट्री के लिए कि दान देकर धन नहीं घटता है, क्योंकि दान देकर लोग पैसे वापस ले रहे थे. What kind of a donation is this? I fail to understand. People are given donation to political party and receive the money back. There are so many cases which are now notices have been issued. You are making a donation and taking the money back. I really surprised. And most of their cases were happening. So they were saying, we will not give any exemption or deduction, and we will give you state reduction in the tax so that you will be benefited to that extent and do not go for hanky-panky things. Ab baat suniye. Whatever benefit has been given, the benefit has been given only to the new regime. No benefit to the old regime. Salaried man, 50,000 standard deduction has been raised to 75,000. For whom? Only who are going for new regime. Old regime, the same 50,000. At one time, old regime was 50,000, new regime was nil. Then next year they said old also 50, new also 50. Now old remains 50, new becomes 70. And the slab rate also. Earlier it was the first 3 lakh exempt, next 3 lakh, 3 to 6, 5%, 6 to 9, 10%, 9 to 12, 15%, at 12 to 15, 20%, and above 15 lakh, 30%. That was the rate. Now what they have done, first 3 lakh nil, 3 to 7, 5%. So that 6 to 7, which was taxed at 10%, now will be taxed at 5%. 5%. So you save 5,000 on this. Next slab is 7 to 10. Earlier slab was 6 to 9. There also you save 5%. So 10,000 benefit for tax and 7,500 on account of standard deduction 30% of 25, 7,500, 17,500 plus surcharge if applicable plus 4% is a relief given to the new regime, not to the old regime. Another regime, contribution to national pension scheme by an employer in the case of a new regime, in case of non-government employee, has been raised to 14%. Whereas in the case of old regime, it remains at 10%. And the same amount which your employer is contributing, you are going to get deduction under 80CCD2. So my point is, benefit of contribution of extra 4% by the employer is also being given to the new regime. The slab rate benefit, new regime. Standard deduction benefit to new regime. Old regime, they wanted to discontinue, but reason, I will not tell you. They wanted to discontinue, but they are forced to continue with that. I will say. But let me tell you, it will die its natural death. There is only one case where new regime has not been prescribed. There is a new regime for companies. There is a new regime for individual HUF, AOP, BUI, artificial jurisdiction. There is a new regime for cooperative society. But so far, for partnership, which includes LLP also, the tax rate is only under new regime and no regime. Let me tell you, very soon you will find new regime for partnership firm and LLP. And very likely 30% will be reduced to 25%. Very likely. One benefit they have given to the partnership firm, not a great extent, but only is that deduction on account of salary or salary, which was allowed 90% of 3 lakh or 50,000, 150, whichever is more. Now it is 90% of 6 lakh or 3 lakh, whichever is more in the first lakh. And above 6 lakh, it will be 60%. Lekin disadvantage dekh lijiye. They want to have monitoring of everything. Now if the partnership firm, including LLP, pays any remuneration, that is salary, commission, bonus, or any interest to the partner, it will be under an obligation to deduct tax at source at the rate of 10%. Although partner is not an employee, but still they said you will have to deduct 10% for salary. Earlier they said you can't take deduct on yourself. But now they have not deducted tax at 192. They have put a new section 194T applicable from 1st April 25, that every firm who pays salary to the partner, who pays interest to the partner, will be under an obligation to deduct tax at the rate of 10%. Purpose is you are getting deduction under partnership firm getting deduction, and many people were not showing that amount of salary or interest as income. Now there will be complete monitoring of that. The monitoring is very important. Very good point. 5627B, issue of share. Issue of share, which you could not issue for more than fair market value. That is the reason. You have to compute your fair market value as per Rule 11UA2. And if you wanted to issue at more than the fair market value, the excess amount was liable to be taxed in the hands of the company. The exception was given to venture capital company and those startups which satisfy the condition laid down for which are registered and satisfy the condition. Now, last year, earlier it was only for resident. Closely held company issuing share to the resident. Last year they said whether closely held company share issued to the resident or non-resident, they will have to pay. They cannot issue more than fair market. The startup said we are getting a lot of fund from abroad. We have a very good valuation, but we are not able to satisfy the condition, or we are not registered in the startup. Although we have our valuation has gone so high. And if they invest here, we will have to pay tax of the company for issue of share more than fair market to give them benefit. The entire section of 50C27B has been abolished. Now anybody can issue share. Unlisted, listed, any unlisted company can issue share. Unlisted, I'm not talking about listed. Listed is different. Any unlisted company, whether startup or any other, can issue share at any amount of premium. You cannot say only as per the valuation given under 11UA2, where you have to take a certificate of merchant banker also. Now,
there is no restriction now.
Now, no question. Straight away, any amount. But remember, sir, there is section 68, which says where any company receives any share application money, share premium, share capital, it has to give not only the source, but also the source of the source. I'm investing. We used to tell, this is the man, it is his PAN number, he is the shareholder who has given me capital. No. If A has invested here, you will have to prove what is the source of A. Source of A. Because circular entries were going on. Now, he said, I borrowed from B. You have to give the source of B. source of the source. Are you
So we
getting
need to find the original source, basically. Original source.
अब ओरिजिनल सोर्स ओरिजिनल पहले तो सिर्फ जो शेयर होल्डर होता था, जो एप्लीकेंट होता था, यू हैड टू गिव द सोर्स ऑफ दैट पर्सन. व्हाट वाज द सोर्स? Name of the person, address of the person, PAN number of the person, and a certificate of the person.
Correct.
Now you have to give the source of the source also. So be careful while you are issuing a share 10 rupees for 1,000 rupees. You have to give the source of that 1,000 rupees. It is not that easy always that you bring your money indirectly to the business. You cannot do that. Clear, sir? This is another point which is important. Another point. You know, these builders used to let out the residential properties. They are letting go. And they are showing income under their house, business and profession, and claiming all deductions. Whereas there is a special chapter of house property. Now they have brought an explanation under section 28, explanation 3, saying where a house property is, a residential house property or part of the residential property is let, the income from that letting shall always be taxable under the income from house property and not under the profit or gain or business. Meaning thereby, now you will get deduction only, standard deduction of 30% and not all the expenses which they were taking under business. So that also only for residential and part of the rest, not for commercial. So that point is also changed. Now there is a section called 47(3). Earlier, you know, transfer of a capital asset by way of a gift or a will or irrevocable trust is not a transfer. Now, there have been judgment. A company can make a gift to the another company and say it is not a transfer. Judgment is there. And there is a judgment also, trust can give a gift to the other individual also. Now, they very clearly said, transfer of capital asset only by an individual or HUF by way of a gift or a will or to a irrevocable trust shall not be treated as transfer. बाकियों में transfer माना जाएगा. The best part they have done is 192. Salary. You know, you have sent your child abroad for study. There is a TCS deducted at the rate of 5% or 0.5%, or you traveled abroad, you have paid TCS of 20%. Now, you tell your employer that this is the amount of TCS deducted. Please give me the credit. It was not allowed. You have sold a property and there is a capital gain. The property sold is more than 50 lakh. TDS was deducted 1%. TDS was deducted. But we are not giving the credit of the TDS while computing, while deducting the tax from salary. You have another case. You have bought a motor car for more than 10 lakh rupees. Am I right? TCS was collected at the rate of 1%. But that credit was not given to you by the employer, saying you separately file your income and claim because the provision is not there. Now, the law has said that if there is a TDS or TCS claim, you can inform under a prescribed form to your employer and he will give you the benefit of that TDS and also TCS while deducting tax from your income. This is a very good welcome step which has happened. And the government was refunding lot of tax because a refund was due because of high rate of TDS. The government has now reduced the rate under section 194D, 194DA, 194G, 194H, 194IB, 194M from 5% to 2%. Commission and brokerage, lottery commission, insurance premium commission, or what you call rent paid more than 50,000, or and for operator, e-commerce operator, 1% has been reduced to 0.1%. So government has gone wisely done that we are incurring interest for refund. Why we are asking them to deduct more tax?
But for the professionals, it is same, sir, 10%.
It is, sir, professional earning, and 10% is only 1/3 of your gross receipt.
Correct.
You have to pay tax at 30%. So 10% is, that means 2/3 the expenses you can claim. So that's why many cases professionals don't get refund. they are have to have income more,
Yes.
right? So this is now the time is not permitting because 7 o'clock I have to. Mr. Bimal Jain has said, "Look here, I have a time at 7 o'clock. So please note, you can. I have 10 minutes. Anybody
Sir,
can ask any question."
Sir, so we have received many questions, but some important question I want to ask. And
Please.
although you have already covered this question in your deliberation, but some specific point if you want to mention, sir, what will be the effect of long-term capital gain and short-term capital gain on the real estate and gold? Like what will be the
Just
effect
have
of this
explained
change?
you the given with the examples.
Yes.
Arey, sir, gold has gone multiple times up. Kahan 4,700 in 2001. Today it is more than 70,000. It is more than what you call 15 times or 16 times, whereas indexation was only 3.6 times. Even property which was bought earlier has gone multiple times. Maybe few cases you may be a loser. And if they are loser, let them go for 54 and 54F or 54B or 54EC. They can take the benefit again in that without indexation also. So I would say most of the people are very happy. And particularly closely held company who want to give share before IPO at a rate higher, they know they have to pay tax only at the rate of 12.5% because indexation is a peanut for them. Indexation is a peanut for them. So my point is, it varies from person to person. There are some people who have got benefited. Most of them have got benefited. And let me tell you, white money kaam aati hai. Number two, money, either you will get spoiled or your children will get spoiled. Please earn the money, pay tax, and enjoy your life. By paying 12.5%, you are getting a good advantage of selling the property at its correct price.
Correct, sir.
Because
Sir,
these are prices, stamp duty value may be much less than the market value of that property.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it is how do you look at it? Opposition will look at it in a different manner. Opposition is kind, why did you help two states and not others? They are supporting, they are helpless, they have to do it. What is there in it? They will have to do it if they are supporting them. So similarly, opposition may be all opposition is there to criticize. Whether it is Modi opposition somewhere in some states or it is the other way around, opposition role is to criticize. But hame dekhna hai, we are professionals and we must know whosoever may be the government, whether it is the actual benefit or not a benefit, you will realize. Thank you, sir. Another question.
Sir, next question is, please explain the provision of deemed dividend under Section 2, subsection 22, clause C in the case of voluntary liquidation of a company.
Sir,
Is
my
there
point
any
is, I will take voluntary liquidation when you are getting, you have accumulated profit. Okay? There is a liquidation. To the extent of accumulated profits, it is dividend. And if you get more than the accumulated profit, balance is capital gain. There is a case of G. Narasimhan, Supreme Court judgment. They say whatever are the accumulated profit, you are getting back on liquidation, it is dividend. But if by chance you get more than the accumulated profit, balance is capital.
Thank you, sir. Sir, next and very important question. If in the new regime there will be benefit of home loan, although it is
no.
simple, there is no.
Let me tell you, there are only two kinds of people who are worried about this. One kind of person are HRA people. But second is home loan. But that you are allowed to the extent of 2 lakh. I fully agree that there is a problem. But if you are letting out the house property, there is absolutely no problem. That loan is allowed. If you have a house and you let it out, the entire interest is allowed. Whereas it is self-occupied, you are allowed the interest to the extent of 2 lakh. There. But other benefits are there, I'm telling you.
Okay, sir. Sir, one very interesting question from a participant. What are the 3 key points through which a self-employed professional legally save the tax? Very relevant.
Sir, भंडारी पांडे साहब, ये जो पॉइंट है ना, मैं बहुत लोगों को कहता हूं, सर, पे टैक्स एंड एंजॉय. genuine, all planning allowed, all expenses allowed. You are there under 44 ADA if you are not more than 50 or 75 lakh, and you pay tax only on the 50%. Expenditure allowed without anything, 50%. And I was all the time telling them, you should have on first 40 lakh 30%, and on the balance you can make it 50%. But some or other, the government says it may be for your professional, but for lawyers, big lawyers, they are minting money, but they are not under 44 ADA. Doctors were not showing income at all. They were taking the money in cash, mostly. Now doctors can show income to the extent of 50% with and deemed deduction 50% for expenses. They may not have to make any record, but mind it, if it is more than 50% income, you have to show more. If it is less than 50, you have to pay 50. Mind it, it's not that you show 50 and earn 80. Not possible.
Correct, sir. So, sir, we have many questions, but I can see the time also, and you have future commitment also.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I told them up to 7 I'm free.
yes, so I will not take more questions, sir, and I would like to express my gratitude of thanks on behalf of ICSI. And you are always like a family for us, sir, and you are always standing with us, and you never say no to ICSI. So
No, I
thank
have never said, but the point was a time constraint. That's all.
correct, sir. So will not take the will not breach the time limit. And on behalf of all the participant, I can see the like thousands of company secretaries are attending this program from Pan India. So on behalf of all the company secretaries of India, I would like to express my gratitude of thanks from bottom of my heart, sir. Thank you so much for sparing
My
your.
apology to Mr. Bimal Jain. I will not be able to hear it. So thank you very much, sir. I have some commitment. Otherwise, I would have continued with you. Thank you, sir.
Sir, no problem. No problem, but your blessing always required.
Oh, yes, certainly they are there. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So, friends, now we'll discuss and deliberate on indirect taxation. And for the indirect taxation, we have with us a very eminent personality, Shri Bimal Jain ji. And like Girish Ahuja sir, Bimal Jain sir's introduction is also not required. We all know him, and he is very humble person, first of all, and very eminent speaker on GST and indirect taxation. So Bimal Jain ji is FCA, FCS, LLB with 24 years of experience in indirect taxation GST, service tax, excise, custom, VAT, CST, FTP, DGFT matters, etc. He is president of CA, CS, CMA Council in Chamber of Trade and Industry, CIT, New Delhi. Author of books of goods and service tax titled GST Law and Company. And like if I will see the profile is so long, but very briefly I'll try to tell you. He is member of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India, along with a bachelor degree in law. He is having more than 24 years experience in indirect taxation and is specialized in all aspect of goods and service tax, service economy, SEZ and other related matter. And he is founder of A to Z Tax Corp LLP. And मुझे लगता है कि प्रोफाइल तो बहुत बड़ा है सर का, मतलब ही इज की नोट स्पीकर एट गिनीज, लाइक ही हैज मेड गिनीज बुक ऑफ वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड made by ICSI, largest taxation lesson on GST attended by approximately third record था, उसमें बिमल जी का बहुत बड़ा योगदान था. Thank you so much, sir. And his business, like he has achieved Business Leader Award from MIT School, Noida, Best Speaker Award from NIRC, ICI, Young Achievers Award at Ignite Minds 2015, Best Participant Award through ICSI, MSOP also. So profile is very long, sir. So thank you so much for sparing your time. And now mic is yours, sir. You can start.
At the outset, let me first thank our president, ICSI, and very dynamic CCM members, Sureshji, Alkaji, Binitji, everyone who are attending today, important changes in Union Budget 2024. I will also request Sureshji, like he was there with Guruji. So I also need someone in front of me. Yes,
I am there, sir. I am there, sir.
you all are watching, I know that. But I need someone who will say, yes, he understood the changes. Once he says that he understood the changes, I will assume that every one of you who is watching now, they have understood the provision. GST is a happening word. 7 years gone for GST. As a company secretary, we always find challenge that apart from legal and secretarial, GST, whether do or not to do. But proudly, I'm saying ICSI has got Guinness World Record. Sureshji was referring to, but let me tell you, ICSI has made Guinness World Record where we have beat the record of Japan. And I was keynote speaker in that particular program. So I'm proud and privileged to be part of ICSI winning that Guinness World Record in 2017-18. Having said that, now background, and I will touch base important changes. And I will try to make it very simple. I will not go technical. I will make it simple in terms of your practical understanding, which you would be looking in your area of practice or in your company where you are employed. As a company secretary or as a practicing company secretary, from that perspective, I will give the changes and will give you the pointer which will help you to digest easily. The first important one. Before I start, let me just give a brief background that clause number 110 to clause number 152. There are 43 clauses in Finance Bill 2024 pertaining to GST related changes. Look at, they always say that union budget is not mean for GST. But there are 43 clauses in Finance Bill making changes in GST law. So let's start with the very first point. So Rezi, you must have seen that you get summoned from GST department. Sometime it is being sent by DGGI. Sometime it is sent by NT, evasion department. Sometime local investigation team. And they want you as a director or as a company secretary to come and give the statement. You are key managerial person. You are not available because you are looking after so much operation and you're the helm of the affairs. You find challenge, can I authorize someone on my behalf who will go and then give the statement, first part. And second part, being director, you might not be knowing GST related, what is going on in the company.
Correct, sir.
Being company secretary also, you might not be knowing what is exactly GST related things which is being asked in the summon. So you find challenge and you always look at the option of authorizing someone who can go to the department, make the statement and give the submission. But this provision was not available in GST law. So they see it was not there. 7 years of GST, it was not there. Very first time in this Union Budget 2024 laudable change, subsection 1A under section 70 got inserted. Now this is permitting you, if you got summoned from the department, being a company secretary or director or managing director, you can always authorize someone within the company or someone outside the company. Both options available. I'm your tax expert and you want me to authorize, you can do that. And I would be appearing on your behalf. Of course, power of attorney need to be executed. And I should be knowing the fact and figures for this summon is being issued. So I will go on your behalf, give the statement, submit fact and figures, but true and fair. So this is a great advantage for a lot of company and key managerial person. So hope this change is a laudable one.
Yes, sir. It was much required because many company secretaries and professionals were facing the difficulties and like directors were like they being harassed by some officers also. So it was much required, much appreciation is from the professional sides.
So on public platform, I did not utter a word harassment, but of course, Sureshji has sounded that
So
word.
if you are like not expert of that area and they are being like you are being asking someone is asking some specific technical question and you can't answer them, so it is kind of harassment only. So it was much required, sir.
So Sureshji is echoing is a laudable one, and I'm sure a lot of you who are watching this, they will also agree with me. It's a laudable change. You can send your queries in between, and at the end, we will take your query. I will try to answer all the queries, whatever we are getting today. Be part of it so that you enjoy some GST related. Even though it is not related to your subject matter, but still I will make it in such a way that you will find some connection directly or indirectly so that you can adopt in your practice area or in your company affairs. So like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Many company secretaries are like they are doing it on the front foot and they are
I know,
dealing with the GST.
I know. I
And
always motivate them. I always encourage them.
you are
Please
always
take up.
inspiration for many CS. So, sir, one important part I want you to cover in this webinar, that how there are changes and how it is affecting the practicing company secretaries who are like under the jurisdiction of GST.
I
Kind
will,
of that part.
surely. Sureshji, without you say, you can rest assured. Because I always take responsibility on my soldier to take our own fraternity, sabka saath, sabka vikas. And I always feel like they should come forward and really take up this GST. Lot of opportunity there. And you must be, seeing the numbers from 90,000 crore per month. We are crossing 1.7 lakh crore rupees per month. And that is the growth we are finding. As against 68 lakh registered person, we are 1.4 crore as on date. So I'm only giving, so this is not the union budget number, but I'm telling you the why GST is important as another professional opportunity for all of us together. Now coming back to the second change. Let's say you got so-called notice, Sureshji, from GST department for non-fraud cases under Section 73 of CGST Act. And this is for 3 financial year. And this is a lucrative professional opportunity for all the professional watching this. I'm telling you, this is kind of amnesty in GST for 3 financial year, 17-18, 18-19, and 19-20. And these so-called notices are being issued under Section 73, which is non-fraud cases. And department is demanding that you have not paid the GST or short paid the GST, or you have taken wrong credit, wrongly availed ITC, or wrongly utilized the ITC on these 4 count, except erroneous refund. Then they are giving option to you. It's a kind of amnesty. You can always cross-check with your client. How many client has got such kind of so-called notices for 17-18, 18-19, and 19-20? Now they are saying you can pay the demanded tax amount. So Sureshji making example very clear. Let's say you got so-called notice for 10 lakh rupees demanding the tax plus interest plus 10% penalty. And if you have got such so-called notices, you must be seeing that 17-18, if so-called notice is being issued in recent times, then 10 lakh is the tax amount, 10 lakh is the interest amount. And then plus 10% penalty. What relief you will get, no interest, no penalty, complete waiver,
So
no
it is kind of
interest.
settlement scheme, sir.
Amnesty. I said amnesty. So no interest, no penalty, only condition. You must pay the demanded tax amount by a date to be notified. 53rd GST Council meeting has recommended 31st March 2025. But in finance bill, they are saying date to be notified. So you have to wait. What would be the date? By then, you need to deposit this demanded tax amount. If you deposit demanded tax amount, then no interest, no penalty. Now, next question which might come in your mind, Sureshji, is so-called notice is being issued. And it is the order also passed against you. There may be a case, order is also passed, and you have gone for appeal. But order and appeal is not yet passed. Or there may be a case, order and appeal is also being passed. But you're supposed to file appeal in tribunal, but tribunal is not yet formed. So the three situations covered. So-cause notice issued, no order passed, adjudication order, but order and appeal is not being passed. Order and appeal is being passed, but GST-80 tribunal has not passed any order in three situations. So not only so-cause notice, even after order passed, so you're getting this benefit. So you can always cross-check your appeal is pending. And if you want to done away with, then for 17-18, 18-19, and 19-20, if you pay the demanded tax amount by cutoff date to be notified, no interest, no penalty. Subsequently, you need to know, sometimes, Sureshji, what happened? You get so-cause notice under section 74, fraud case, which is on the face of it not covered. But fortunate part, sometime court has given direction to the proper officer that there is no fraud. It is only non-fraud case. Then in that case, these cases are also being covered. So I've given you this amnesty, but two more points in this particular point. If you have paid interest and penalty, then no relief. Here I've got my observation. We have seen in GST last 7 years, and you will all agree with me, non-compliant taxpayer gets advantage versus compliant taxpayer. And this is not the right proposition. Why only non-compliant taxpayer will get the advantage? Why not the compliant taxpayer who has paid the tax, interest, and penalty? For same provision, you are giving benefit to the non-compliant taxpayer. To that extent, I'm not agreeing, but what to be done? This is the amnesty for the non-compliant. If you think this can help you, take the advantage. One more condition you must keep to your mind: when your appeal is pending and you want to enjoy this amnesty, then you need to withdraw the appeal. You will give the declaration that I will not continue with the appeal. Or let's say you have filed a writ petition against the order passed. You need to withdraw your writ petition.
Of course, there should not be any like litigation if you are taking the benefit of that.
Of course, they are simply saying subsequently you will not litigate the matter once you are enjoying and taking this amnesty. This is the second point. I hope, Sureshji, I'm very clear to all my participants.
It is crystal clear, sir. Crystal clear and very important for all the companies.
Okay, so you got second point also. I'm giving you one after another added advantage, third added advantage. Again, advantage, kind of amnesty. Sureshji, we have seen in the past that sometime you have not availed the credit in your 3B within the time-bound manner, as per section 16, subsection 4. And to tell my viewers, there is provision in GST law that you must avail your credit by the time defined under section 16, subsection 4. What is that time? Earliest of due date. Due date of furnishing return under section 39, which is GSTR 3B, for the month of September following the end of relevant financial year. or due date of furnishing annual return, whichever is earlier. Let's say for 1920, let's assume for understanding sake to my all viewers, for financial year 1920, due date for filing 3B for the month of September 20 would be 20th October 2020. Am I right? And due date for filing annual return is normally 31st December. But you have to keep to your mind, for some reason, you could not avail credit by this time defined. Then what happened? Your credit is lost, lapsed. Believe me, number of so-called notices pan-India. And constitutional validity was challenged in different high court. In Patna High Court, Govindakant section, in AP High Court, Thirumalakonda Plywood, Calcutta High Court, BBA Infrastructure, Chhattisgarh High Court, Jain Brothers, all judgments are against us. They have said it is constitutionally valid, meaning thereby you lost. We have filed the SLP in the Supreme Court, Sureshji. When Patna High Court decided against, Honorable Supreme Court has issued the notice to the revenue, and they were supposed to file counter. Alongside, we filed the representation also to GST Council. What we have conveyed to them, we have said it was initial years, there was certain non-compliances. And you will agree with me, Sureshji, sometime we are not in a position to file 3B for the reason we are not having working capital. Ultimately, you have to pay the taxes, right? GST is on accrual basis. But if you have not collected any amount from your client or customer, then you need to pay from your pocket. If you're not having enough working capital, you're not in a position to file 3B. And thereby there is delay. And if delay, then they are saying it is time limit, your credit got lapsed. Listen very carefully. All practicing company secretary, including those who are employed in a company. If your credit is lapsed for 4 initial financial year, 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, and 20-21, they are saying you will get the credit. Only condition, you must have availed through GSTR 3B, and that too by 30th November 21. Sureshji, again I'm repeating. For initial 4 financial year, even for 17-18, if you have availed by 30th November 21, in 3B, you will get the credit. 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, and 20-21. You will get the credit.
It is big relief for industry, sir.
Big relief. So now here one more point which is coming to my mind, and those who are doing GST practice, they would be asking, Bimalji, I have not availed the credit in 3B, but I have availed the credit in 9 and 9C. 9 GST and 9 is annual return. And 9C is a self-certified reconciliation statement. There may be a possibility, or there may be a possibility I have not shown in 9 and 9C, but I have availed in books of accounts. What to be done? As per law, they are saying you must have availed in 3B. Then only you will get the relief. But I'm giving you food for thought. Food for thought. Subject to litigation. I can always argue, even I can argue today, that 3B is not only the return where credit need to be availed. There is another credit document which is called GSTR2, which was coexisting. I'm saying coexisting along with 3B until 1st October 2022. I can always argue in the court of law and say, Lordship, it is not only 3B, GSTR2 is the credit document, but this was never introduced and implemented since July 1, 2017. Yani GSTR2 was the document where I should avail the credit, but never got introduced. I can always argue doctrine of impossibility. So you can't block my credit just on the basis of 3B. And there are judgment. I'm not saying there are judgment from Madras High Court, Kevin HP Gas, Shanmuga Hardware Electricals. There are judgment, and this will help litigation. So section 16, subsection 5 got inserted. So this is the first. And second, I hope this part is clear, Sureshji.
Yes, sir. But
Is clear?
today, if you need to take the benefit of this provision, your 3B should be there.
Yeah.
It
And
is the-
for litigation also, I support it.
Yes.
In case you have not availed in 3B, what is the recourse available to you?
But you can try. Yes.
Now, next situation, Sureshji, very interesting. Let's say you are GST registered, Sureshji, and your registration is cancelled by the department for either or region. Your registration is cancelled. If your registration is cancelled, then you can't file your GST return. So if you can't file your GST return, there may be a situation, since you could not file your GST return, this time period to avail credit got lapsed. Possibility, right? That your registration got cancelled, you could not submit and file your return, and thereby this time limit which is being prescribed under section 16, subsection 4 got lapsed. What you would be doing? There's no fault of you. It was only cancellation, and cancellation happening for many regions. That is the reason I said there may not be fault on your part, and your registration got cancelled, and thereby you could not submit your 3B, your credit got lapsed. What to be done? Section 16, subsection 6. Please, all the viewers, please take a note of it. It is really good, laudable change. They are saying in all such cases, you would be allowed as a cancelled dealer to file your GST return within 30 days from the revocation order. So once revocation order is being passed for your cancellation, you must submit all your return within 30 days for the period from cancellation till revocation. So even though it is lapsed your time, but still if you file within 30 days from the revocation order, for the period cancellation till revocation, you will get the credit. I hope this part is again clear to all the viewers.
Much clear, sir. Very much clear.
Perfect. So
30 days time is there.
30 days time is there. So when Sureshji is saying very much clear, I'm assuming impliedly that my viewers are also agreeing to it, and they are they are clear about this provision. Of course, when you're sending your query, you can always write back that you got all explanation to your understanding, so that we get a feedback. Yes, Bimalji, whatever you communicated, we got correctly and we understood it properly. So that my task would be, I would be delighted to see such comment that you understood everything. So having said that, coming back to the next change. Next change is very interesting, and this I'm giving you opinion. Those who are CS practicing or company, they have faced the challenge. And I'm starting with, let's say, Sureshji, you're a director of a company. And you are my director, ABC Limited. You are my director. You're not registered in GST, right? You're not registered. When you're giving services to ABC Limited in the capacity of director and attending meeting and everything, I'm giving you, fees accordingly. That is subject to RCM, reverse charge. Hope it is known to all my viewers. It's subject to reverse charge. Who will pay GST? Company will pay. Sureshji will not pay anything. Sureshji is a supplier. Sureshji is neither registered nor he will charge GST. It is company who need to pay.
It is also applicable in the case of advocates also.
I'm coming back. Sureshji, I'm coming back. Why I started director example? I was trying to connect with my legal and secretarial professionals. That is the reason I was connecting them. It is not only for director, I'm telling you, it is for any notified goods or services subject to reverse charge procured from unregistered supplier. So advocate example, which is being picked up by Suresh ji, the right example. So advocate giving services to the company, advocate is not registered. Company, business entity need to pay GST under reverse charge. So he rightly picked up. So it is not only for director, but I was trying to create analogy to my all viewers that you must understand. But what is the point which I wanted to draw? Let's say, Suresh ji, you given services on 1st January 2020. And listen very carefully. 1st January or advocate given services on 1st January 2020 pertaining to financial year 1920. Now today on 28th of July 2024, we realized as a company, we have not paid any amount to Suresh ji, either director or advocate. We have not paid any amount. Question will come in our mind whether RCM is applicable in the hands of company because we have not paid any amount. First question. Let me tell you and to all the viewers, RCM is applicable irrespective of fact whether I paid the amount to you or not. So please be careful. There is a time of supply provision under section 13 subsection 3, which is clearly saying that we need to pay GST under reverse charge, irrespective of fact you paid or not paid. Of course, you can determine time of supply. Now, having said that, question will come 1st January 2020, when I'm realizing today on 28 July 24, can I pay now and claim credit? And if I pay RCM of 2020 now, whether interest is leviable. So these are the questions, right? There is change in budget, section 13, subsection 3. Red bit, section 31, subsection 3, clause F. It is clearly saying whenever I'm procuring from unregistered supplier, director or advocate, being a company, I need to raise self-invoice. ABC Limited need to raise the self-invoice, which I would be raising today's date, 28 July 2024. I should have raised on 1st January 2020, which I didn't do. I forgot. I'm raising today. So there would be violation that I did not raise the invoice on time. So there would be penalty for that. Under section 122, subsection 3, clause E, 50,000 rupees is the penalty. I would be more than willing to pay 50,000. I would be only looking for, if I pay RCM today, can I take credit? Because 1920 time period is gone. Circular number 211, dated 26 June 2024. Suresh Bhai, self-invoice generated today's date would be the eligible document for availing credit. And when today's date, then 24-25 financial year would be the relevant for determining time limit under section 16, subsection 4. So you will get the credit. You will get the credit. With the interest leviable, of course, interest leviable. It should have been 1st January 2020. Interest from that date. So RCM always pay through e-cash ledger. You can't use your credit ledger. Aapko cash mein, you have to pay in cash. And even interest, which is chargeable from that date, you have to pay in cash, and interest rate is 18% per annum. 18% per annum. So all such RCM liability under section 9 subsection 3 or section 9 subsection 4 for reverse charge liability from unregistered supplier, you will get the credit. Interest leviable. Self-invoice is your eligible document, subject to payment of taxes as per rule 36(1)(b). So Suresh ji, you will get the credit. So you can always check, go back to such transaction. where you missed, you can always take credit. But had it been from a registered supplier like GTA who is registered and GTA providing services to the company, reverse charge, GTA will not charge unless he is under forward charge. Then in that case, you will not get the credit because his invoice would be the eligible document. And he must have raised the invoice on 1st January 2020. Then from registered supplier, this provision is not applicable. So this is what the next point which I explained to all of you. Hope I'm clear, Sureshji? Perfect. So Sureshji is showing thumbs up.
So, sir, we are getting some questions also. Like, if you
I will. I will
if you want-
definitely. I will take, little one or two more point and then
No,
we'll
sir,
take
you take your time, but we'll take the questions at last.
at last.
Yes,
Definitely. Otherwise, that momentum will go away.
correct.
That question may be specific to this, viewers. So
Yes.
we can take at the end of the session. And I will request all the viewers, rest assured, whatever your query would be, I'm there. And we will really take up all your query to answer it. I only want our professionals, CS professionals, must start looking into GST as an area of practice. I'm trying my best. See, I'm not giving technical presentation, but not saying provision from this section, this subsection, this rule, but trying practical example, which is so relevant for all
Oh,
of
sir,
us.
it is very relevant and very simple and understandable way you are telling us. Thank you for
Okay.
that, sir. Thanks.
Now coming back to another important section. In any provision, if you look at, there is always time limit for issuance of so-called notice and order. Similar was the provision under GST law. Under section 73, non-fraud case, under section 74, fraud case, there was time limit, specified time limit. For non-fraud case, there were 3 years from the due date of furnishing annual return, non-fraud. And for fraud case, it is 5 years from the due date of furnishing annual return. So 3 years and 5 years was the time period. And so-called notice supposed to be issued at least 3 months prior for non-fraud and 6 months prior for fraud case. This was the provision, Sureshji. This was the provision. Now, what is the change they have done? And this is, you must listen. And I will also take you to one of the High Court where we are getting relief only on limitation, not on merit, on limitation. So this section is important. Now they are saying 73 non-fraud and section 74 fraud is going to expire and it is only applicable up to financial year 23-24. So after that, 73 and 74 will not be there. They are introducing new section now, Sureshji. Section 74, capital A, new section. And this is going to be applicable from financial year 24-25 and onwards. So if I'm talking on 28 July 2024, this is a relevant financial year, and this is applicable from this relevant financial year. 74, capital A. Now they're giving common timeline. Sureshji, common timeline. For issuance of so-called notice and order, irrespective of fact, whether it is non-fraud case or fraud case. So we both are treated on same boat now. The fraudulent guy and non-fraudulent guy, both are sitting on same boat now. So what is the timeline now? They're saying Bimal for issuance of so-called notice, it is 42 months from the due date of furnishing annual return. 42 months from the due date of furnishing annual return. And 42 months from the date of erroneous refund. So non-payment of taxes, short payment of taxes, ITC wrongly availed or utilized, so-called notice will be issued in 42 months from the due date of furnishing annual return. To understand in an easiest manner, For financial year 24-25, due date of annual return would be 31st December 25. And from that date, 42 months.
4 years.
So this is what 42 months. And when they are supposed to pass order,
Approx.
12 months from the date of issuance of so-called notice. 12 months from the date of issuance of so-called notice, which can further be extended by 6 months. On order to be recorded in writing by commissioner or any proper officer not below the rank of joint commissioner. So 42 months for so-called notice, 12 plus 6 months for passing the order. So maximum 60 months. So this defined time limit is now prescribed in GST law. Only fact is it is applicable to both of us, fraudulent and non-fraudulent.
So they have limitation for 3.5 years.
42 months.
42 months.
42 months.
Okay. So it is also
for so-called notice. For so-called notice.
It is also
passing,
kind of relief, sir, for the industry.
But no, here, Sureshji, if you are non-fraudulent, your time limit was only 3 years.
Correct.
From the due date of furnishing annual return. What they have made? They have made 42 plus 12 more. Plus 6, 60 months means 5 years. And they are now making you sit with the fraudulent guy.
Yes.
So can you say it is good for us? It is not good for us. Non-fraudulent should not be treated at par with the fraudulent one. It can't be. And that's what they are doing, which is not correct. But at least define time period. We have seen in the past that so-called notice is being issued, but order is not being passed. 2 years gone, 4 years gone, 6 years gone, 8 years gone. But at least this defined time period has come. This is the only added advantage. But now here, they are creating some difference between non-fraudulent and fraudulent, non-fraud and fraud case. What is the difference? If it is non-fraud case, then penalty which you pay, it would be higher of 20,000 or 10% of tax amount. If it is non-fraud case. So in case of non-fraud, maximum 20,000 or 10% of tax amount. If it is fraud case, it is 100% of tax amount. Only to this extent they have kept difference between a non-fraud and fraud case.
The quantum of penalty.
Quantum of penalty. But how this penalty can be reduced? Listen this part carefully. Of course, little technical here, but of course it will help you to understand. Then I will take you to one judgment and a good court case, how we argue on limitation. If it is non-fraud case, Sureshji, and if you have paid the tax and interest before issuance of so-called notice, then no penalty. If it is non-fraud case, then no penalty. Even so-called notice is being issued, but you are paying within 60 days, which was earlier 30 days. Then also penalty is not leviable. So this is a great advantage to you in terms of payment, tax and interest. Then penalty not leviable for non-fraud case. But had it been fraud case, Sureshji, had it been fraud case, because I need your vibration saying yes or no that you're understanding.
Yes,
because you
sir.
are representing now whole of India.
I'm getting it.
So if it is a fraud case and you are paying tax and interest before issuance of so-called notice, then 15% penalty need to be paid. If so-called notice is being issued, then you can pay within 60 days tax, interest and 25% penalty. If order is being issued, if you pay within 60 days of that order passed, tax, interest, 50% penalty, 50. Otherwise, 100% penalty. Now here one more provision, important one, which you must take a note of it. Important one. So let's say you have collected, and now I will be asking you to answer as a representative of whole India. Let's say you have collected some GST component and you are not making a payment. You're not depositing with the government exchequer. Whether penalty going to be levied on you? You have collected the tax. You're not depositing the tax. Even though it is non-fraud case, assume non-fraud case.
There should be interest, sir.
Now, Sureshji says interest. That is the reason I posted this query. And I wanted all of you to take a note of it. There would be tax, interest, and 10% penalty by default if you don't pay within 30 days, 30, from the due date of payment of tax. So there's no escape route. So please take a note of it. This is section 74, capital A. Maybe one last point, then we can take question answers. Sureshji,
You can.
Is it okay? Last point?
Yes, sir.
Last point I'm only taking.
Yes.
Because there are so many changes. There's so many changes. I have picked up the important one in terms of pre-deposit. Maybe one or two change quickly I will touch base, which are important for digest. So listen, pre-deposit. When you're filing appeal in GST, before first appellate authority, who is a commissioner appeal or joint commissioner appeal in SGST department, then we have to make compulsorily pre-deposit.
Yes.
So what is the process? Whatever admitted tax is there, which you must pay along with interest and penalty or late fees, fines, etc. Admitted one. For disputed tax, there's a 10% you must pay, subject to maximum of 50 crore. It was a provision present. 25 CGST, 25 SGST, which is now reduced to 40 crore. 20 CGST and 20 SGST. 10% remain.
Okay.
Subject to maximum of 40 crore, which was earlier 50 crore.
Got it.
If it is a case of tribunal, which is not yet formed, but the provision for pre-deposit was, in addition to this 10% which you have paid at first appellate authority, you need to pay 20% of disputed tax, subject to maximum of 100 crore. Now, what is change being done? It is being reduced to 10% now, subject to maximum of 40 crore.
Very welcome.
20 CGST, 20 SGST. So, but is it sufficient enough? To my mind, no. If you go back to pre-GST, it was only 7.5% at first stage, yes, and additionally 2.5% when tribunal, subject to maximum of 10 crore. But this is too high a figure. But of course, from figure of 100 crore, if reduced to 40 crore, to a certain extent, you can say reduction in pre-deposit. But here one more point. Let's say order and appeal is being passed against you, Sureshji. Order and appeal. And GST tribunal is not yet formed. Where you will go? And your 3 months time limit for filing appeal before tribunal is expiring also, because it got started the day Honorable President of GST got appointed, which was 6th May 2024. So they have made the provision, this 3 months calculation will start from a date to be notified. From a date to be notified. So you need not require to worry. The time limit will start only from a date to be notified. So this was on pre-deposit. And last point, and then we will have open question answers house. Last point. And here I want to take taste of my all the viewers, those who are still sitting with me. I do not know. I do not know how many of you are still sitting with me because I can't see you. But if you're there, then you will try to answer this question. Let's say you got 1 lakh rupees GST liability. Sureshji, you are representative, so I will be posting this query to you. You got 1 lakh rupees liability for a particular month. And you got 80,000 rupees lying in your e-credit ledger. So net tax liability is only 20,000 rupees. Let's say you're having 10,000 rupees lying in your e-cash ledger also. So net, you have to pay only 10,000 rupees. So interest, which is applicable on delayed payment of tax for some region, is applicable on 10,000, 20,000 or 1 lakh. 1 lakh gross tax, net tax is 20,000. If we deduct cash portion, which is already lying in my e-cash ledger, net would be 10,000. Tell me interest under GST applicable on 10,000.
But it should be on 10,000. Like,
you're saying should be. So Sureshji says should be because logically he's saying that.
yes.
It should be on. Believe me, this change they have made recently. 7 years of GST. Rule 88B of CGST rule got amended very recently, from 10 July 2024. It was for 10,000 lying in e-cash ledger, they were not giving any relief. And matter were disputed, Madras High Court, ISIS Motor Limited. This was a disputed point, but now
Very
at least...
progressive change, sir.
Huh?
It is very progressive.
Very progressive. So you can at least say GST is now trying to correct wherever the lacunas was there. But you must keep to your mind, if any proceedings had started under section 73 or 74 or 74A, which is new section applicable from 24-25 onwards, then you will not get relief, Sureshji.
Yes.
Then you need to pay interest on gross tax liability. So this was the point I wanted to draw your attention. There are many other points, so I'm not touching base. But within the time given, because 40 minutes time was allotted to me to give the deliberation, I have exceeded my time.
So you have covered approximately 10 very important areas of GST.
So Sureshji, I tried my best. Now we can take question answers, whatever
Yes,
you got it.
definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. So we have received many questions, but some important questions I will take. Some questions are very you can say, sir, because many young members are also attending this program, so it may be very general for you, but I will take those also.
Yeah,
So
please.
first question I'm taking, it is what about government nominee attending meetings and getting sitting fees? Like it is, he's asking about the board meetings. So whether they are required to pay GST or not. If
No,
I'm
they need not require, because they nominated as a director on behalf of government, right?
correct.
It's a company liability only.
Okay. Okay. So second question, sir. Can an individual like professional file GST1 and GSTR 3B on the basis of bank account transaction being credited to it, or he need to check the on the basis of tax invoice generated only?
I got it. On the basis of accrual, not on the basis of bank. Receipt basis concept is gone in GST. It is on the basis of accrual. Whatever tax invoice is being generated, irrespective of fact you have collected or not, you have to pay the GST. Otherwise, interest at the rate of 18% per annum.
It was in the regime of service tax.
Up to 50 lakh.
Yes.
So there's the up to 50 lakh in the service tax regime, but that is
Correct.
gone in GST
Correct.
regime. Next.
So, one who has provided service to his company more than rupees 20 lakhs required to registration under GST or not?
If you are providing service as a professional,
Then you have to.
and more than 20 lakh rupees, of course you need to take registration. Only case is director. Exclusion is director. He should not. Then if you're director and exclusively giving services in capacity of director, you should not take registration. Company will pay GST under reverse charge, provided you should not have any other liability under forward charge. So you need to cross-check that part. So Suresh, hope I'm clear this aspect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, next question is it worth to get RCM credit in the same month by the company, which has paid by RCM like in the same month if
It is possible, Suresh, if July month, which is paid on 20th August, you can take in the July month. No
okay.
problem.
Okay, sir. Sir, one very like general question it is there in case the SSC has paid IGST instead of CGST, then what are the remedies he is having? Although it is not related with the budget,
No
but
problem. No problem. I said, I'm willing to take your queries. I really want you should start, getting into the ICSI platform, coming on a platform, listening to us. And of course, we should be thankful for, such kind of, budget program, that too happening on Sunday and that too in the evening time, and you're attending it. Rest assured,
sir,
there are
more
challenges.
than like if I can see the number, approximately 2,500 people still there and they're watching us, except social media because it will go on the social media also, on YouTube also. So more
That's
than
great.
2,000 people are there with us.
So my compliment to all the viewers who are watching, still sitting with me and watching this webinar on ICSI platform, and that too on a topic of GST. So thankful to each one of you that apart from legal and secretarial, you are also trying to, get into GST. I'm willing, I'm there. Rest assured.
Thank you, sir.
If you have availed the credit, let's say IGST credit as a CGST and SGST or vice versa. Of course, we have done this mistake in the past. But there's no loss to the government exchequer. But they're issuing a so-called notice. And it is not getting resolved at the lower level. We have to file a writ petition, and there are number of judgment from Kerala High Court and other High Court. They are saying in such case being revenue neutral, it is only bucket, right? Otherwise, credit is available to him. So you can't deny such credit. It is not doable, not permissible, but it is coming by way of litigation. I only request government, CBIC and GST Council, they must clarify this issue so that it gets resolved, because this is the issue for many small taxpayers. They are not having good team along with them to look after compliances, and they might have made the mistake. But being no loss to the government exchequer, it is only bucket got changed. Otherwise, credit was available. To my mind, you have to litigate the matter.
You need to see the amount also. If it
Yeah,
is
I said even smaller, you can just, I'm not recalling that immediate judgment. That the Kerala, you can go to Google, type Bimal Jain, and that this topic, you will get the judgment. I'm telling you how to get the judgment. Go to Google, type Bimal Jain, and that wrongly availed IGST credit in lieu of CGST and SGST, you will get the judgment.
okay, sir. So next question is what is the limitation for appeal to appellate tribunal, which has not yet been set up till date?
I said it is normally 3 months, but since tribunal is not being formed as yet, they
Then
have
you
inserted a provision that they will notify a date. And from that date, 3 months to be calculated. So you need not require to worry.
have already covered this point. So next question is assessee has paid tax along with interest beyond 30 days from the date of due date, whether penalty would be levied on such assessee or not. Like you have covered this part also.
So he might be asking for the present scenario.
Present scenario, yes, sir.
He's not asking for the future 74 capital A. Had it been 74 capital A, this 30 days is being extended to 60 days. But under section 73, it is now only 30 days. So in that case, they will demand the penalty.
Yes, sir. Sir, one very important question, like budget proposes that GST tax structure to be simplified and rationalized to expand GST to the remaining sector also. What changes in GST law can be anticipated? Like how they will simplify and rationalize it?
I'm telling you this five-tier rate, 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28% might get merged into three-tier rate. This is the first rationalization which I can see. Second, exemption they will reduce because exemption is creating cascading. If you are exempted sector, then whatever inward supply you are procuring on which you have paid GST credit is not available. It creates cascading. To have seamless flow of credit, we have to reduce exemption over a period of time. We can't do at one go because there are lot many sector, lot many goods needs exemption because they were nil rated. You can't levy tax on them.
Correct, sir.
But over a period of time, we need to rationalize it. This is what too broad proposition, but this is work in progress. It will take some time,
Yes,
and
sir.
we can always see changes pertaining to this. Let's tune together. Maybe next year, whenever we are coming for the union budget presentation, we can give you some more insight on the same.
Sir, next question is financial year 18-19, notice under section 73 is issued. Interest is paid and DRC 3 is done. So order is pending by GST tax officer. Can I get refund for the interest is paid or not?
I said, disclaimer, if you have paid the interest and penalty, no refund.
No refund.
No refund.
Yes. Next question, sir, regarding ITC for financial year 18-19. Bills are not shown in 2A and we have taken in financial year 19-20. Now notice is under section 73 for the financial year 19-20. Can I take this ITC or not? If partly is provide declaration, if party is providing declaration because it is shown under B2C, not B2B.
See, I can only tell you it is not reflecting in your 2A. And that is the reason department is disputing. There are two circular. Circular number 183 and circular number 193. Please read those circular. These circular are giving certain process and procedure. If it is more than 5 lakh rupees, they are talking about CA, CMA certificate. If it is less than 5 lakh rupees, it is talking about supplier certificate. And if you produce the certificate to the jurisdictional officer, proper officer, he will give you the relief. Just on the basis it is not there in 2A, he can't deny credit. And this circular will help. Alongside Supreme Court judgment, Bharti Airtel has clearly said 2A is only facilitation. It is not determining factor for availing credit. So to my mind, your credit will not be barred unless they are creating, because they are saying section 73, I'm sure they are not saying it's a fraud case. It's a non-fraud case. To my mind, whatever the circular reference which I given to you with the citation, you can quote to the jurisdictional proper officer, you will get the relief.
Okay, sir. Sir, one very important question, like an integrated platform of IBC ecosystem and the extension of Central for Processing Acceleration Corporate, this CPACE for voluntary closure of LLP is proposed in this budget. So how will it affect the ecosystem, sir, basically?
Now we are digressing to some other component, but nevertheless, integration need to be done now. It is not yet done. So maybe this is work in progress. That is my limited answer for this particular query.
Okay, sir. Sir, one like very relevant question also, and it is in the news also, in the media also. The budget proposes new scheme for internship to 1 crore youth in top 500 companies in next 5 years. How feasible is this proposal for the companies? And with respect to GST, like how this scheme will affect the top 500 companies? Because it is a very important area.
See, Sureshji, this government is struggling because they are not able to create employment. So
Correct.
I'm just giving food for thought. 2 lakh crore rupees is being allocated for youth empowerment and skill development for the youth. And you must be knowing now they have introduced ELI as against PLI. What is PLI? Performance linked incentive to boost manufacturing. Now they are saying employment linked incentive. Employment linked incentive, they are giving you that new employee joining the company, they will give you 15,000 rupees in 3 installments. Government is going to give you the incentive for that. And now this intensive is they talked about that 1 crore in 500 top companies and with the internship of 5,000 rupees and 6,000 rupees additionally to be given. To my mind, of course, is a good budget proposal. Now we have to see to what extent it get implemented. If you divide this 1 crore by 500 companies per year, then 14,000 internship per year is coming out. So 14,000 internship per company, and that too in a top company. I do not know, but I'm only sharing my feedback with a disclaimer. Of course, this suggestion is very good. Maybe if it is implemented 50%, then also I will see the success, because those in turn,
Yes, sir. It is
for
practical.
for 1 year in that two top companies, they will learn. They will learn a lot. And when they will complete their internship, they will be ready to take the job, employment. So it's a good initiative, I must say
But
that.
its practical implementation is also like we need to see how.
I said I given some practical, some challenges also, but nevertheless, we are starting somewhere.
Sir, you discussed about this manufacturing and service sector. So, what are the proposal relating to boosting manufacturing and services sector, and how will they help MSME sector and entrepreneurship? Like how in this budget, if you see from the GST perspective, so how government is planning to help the MSME sector, which is you can say backbone of our country.
See, I can tell you, Sureshji, one thing to boost manufacturing vocal for local, Atmanirbhar Bharat, they have reduced or made nil custom duty on parts and components used for the manufacturing purpose. Why these import of parts and components are being reduced? Take the example of solar sector. Any capital goods imported for manufacturing of solar power panel, custom duty made nil. Why? Solar power is the need, and for manufacturing you need capital goods, custom duty made nil. And why I'm sharing this numbers? If you go to the sector specific, they have given and taken up the major where custom duty is being reduced. When custom duty is being reduced on parts and component, just to make sure that manufacturing, they will find it competitive as against import. So it is for different sector they have picked up and they are doing so. Look at the gold from 15% to 6%. We have seen, some kind of artificial price inflation in the gold prices from 15 to 6%. And immediately after budget announcement, we have seen that prices of gold has come down. So they are also correcting. So MSME also, they have given lot many, interest subvention, capital subsidy, your mudra loan, lot many things, and loan at a concessional rate. These are the benefit which is being given in the budget to support MSME sector. You unmute yourself, yes.
Yes, yes, sir. So, sir, it's time to conclude the session because we are we are under the limitation of the time. So, on behalf of all the participants,
Before you say vote of thanks, I would like to say for 30 seconds only.
please, sir, please, you may take.
Those who are watching now, of course, I'm the last. I'm talking about GST, but Sureshji has taken some other views also. That the manufacturing, internship, lot many things we have discussed. My only request to all the viewers would be, let's get tuned together. We can do wonder. We as
Correct.
a CS professional, not to be tag only legal and secretarial. We can do anything. And all professional work, we are competent enough. Have confidence. Try to do that. And if you feel like that, yes, you need Bimal Jain to encourage you, you can always join me on social media, no problem. And I would be delighted to be part of it. And always I believe Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Suresh ji from Northern
Sabka
India,
Vishwas also, sir.
Sabka Vishwas also. So Suresh ji always does from Northern India. Long time I'm with him. We know each other well,
Yes.
but we are representing whole pan India. So be part of it. Let's create this momentum for all of us together.
Sir,
ICSI Guinness World Record.
yes, sir.
ICSI Guinness World Record in our name.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
see, we are so proud, and that too for GST taxation classes. I'm proud because I was keynote speaker. Thanking Suresh ji. Back to you.
Sir, I want to apprise you that we are running many certificate courses and crash courses on the GST.
That's
And
great.
you know, you are coming as faculty also there also. So many company secretaries are doing courses like after their qualification of company secretary, they are the huge number of members are doing certificate course specifically on the GST.
That's
So
great.
like you are always an inspiration for us and always available for the institute. So thank you so much, sir. On behalf of ICSI, on behalf of all the participants of this webinar, I would like to express my thanks to you and thank you so much for sparing your time, valuable time, and on this Sunday evening. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much once again. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much all the participants. Thank you so much for your active participation. I want to express my gratitude to our President Shri B. Narasimhanji also who were with us in absentia and our team like heavily lead by Ms. Halka Arora. Thank you so much each and everyone and all the participants. Once again, thank you, Vimal sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.